If you've ever thought about saving or investing your money, you've probably come across terms like inflation, risk and return, compounding, opportunity cost. And these concepts can feel very abstract and honestly like boring textbook terms, but once you start breaking them down and really understanding them, you'll see how simple they are and they will directly shape how you achieve your financial goals. So in today's video, we're going to start with the basics. I'll first talk about saving versus investing. Then we'll talk about the time value of money, how inflation affects our money, the power of compounding, risk and return, and finally, opportunity cost. And by the end of this video, you will not only feel comfortable with these terms, but you will be able to use them to achieve your financial goals. So let's get into it. Let's start simple. Saving versus investing. Saving is like keeping your money in a piggy bank or a drawer at home. It's just sitting there. And in today's world, it's called a checkings account. You can actually also keep it in your pocket and find it years later when you're doing laundry, but that's besides the point. When you're saving, you have a tangible end goal in mind. You're saving for something specific, for an emergency fund or a trip or a wedding, etc. And there are two ways of saving your money. One is what I described before, where you just keep your money in a checkings account, and the other is keeping it in a high interest savings account. In the first one, nothing is happening. Your money is just sitting there. So, for example, if you have $1,000 in 2025 in your checkings account, you will still have $1,000 in 2026, and again, $1,000 in 2027. Nothing really happens. The second method is to keep it in a high interest savings account. So, for example, if your interest account is giving you 3%, in 2025, you have $1,000. In 2026, that 3% is going to grow your money to $1,030. And in 2027, you would have $1,060.90. Both methods are considered savings, but in one, your money isn't growing, and the other, it's growing a little bit. Investing is when you put your money to work, and your goal is to build your wealth and have more money in the next 10, 20, 30 or more years. You don't have a specific end goal in mind, you just want to grow your wealth. And for that reason, you are willing to take a little bit more risk by entering the stock market because you know that you have the potential for higher returns compared to your high interest savings account. Now, why bother with this? Why not just keep saving more cash, more than what you need day to day, and just let it be there? Why do we even bother with this? And why do you have to think about all of these abstract concepts and get into it? The reason is the time value of money. The time value of money states that your money today is worth more than your money tomorrow. So if you have $1,000 in the bank today in 2025, that $1,000 will be worth more than having $1,000 in your bank in 2026. I'm currently taking the Breaking into Wall Street's financial modeling course, and the instructor explained the time value of money really nicely. So there are two reasons why money today is worth more than money tomorrow. The first reason is that money today has the potential of making more money tomorrow. So the possibilities are endless. You can put your money to work by making interest and by buying the right stocks. You can buy different assets, capital appreciation. You can invest in courses in your own skills so that you know how to make more money tomorrow. Like, the possibilities, like I said, are endless. This is the main reason why your money today is worth more than money tomorrow. A lot of people think that it's inflation, but that is not the case, because even assuming that the cost of goods stays stagnant for the next few years, you still have the potential to make more money with the money that you have today. The second reason, like I said, is inflation. Inflation is the increase in prices over time, and what that does is that it reduces your purchasing power. Now, let me give you an example. Suppose you're walking back home and you pass by a grocery store and you decide to buy apples. You have $5 and you buy 3 apples from the $5. Next year, you take that $5 and you're expecting to buy 3 apples now. However, when you get to the cashier, you are told that you can only afford 2 apples and some change with that $5. Why is that the case? It's because the price of apples have gone up slightly, and so your purchasing power, the amount that you can purchase with the $5 that you had, has gone down. So because of inflation, your purchasing power has gone down, and now you can only get 2 apples from that $5 versus 3 that you got last year. So imagine if you had just saved that money by keeping it in a checkings account or in your drawer, you actually would have lost money by not putting it at least in a high interest savings account so that you can keep up with inflation. All right, so the question is that why bother about investing and why go into these technical terms? Why not just keep your money in a high interest savings account and you'll keep up with inflation and life will be great, right? No, the problem is that the prices of a lot of other things rise much faster than inflation. For example, cost of travel depends on oil prices, exchange rates, and other economics. And unfortunately, your income doesn't rise that fast. And so there is a difference between how much you are earning in the future and how much prices are going up. So unfortunately, if you are only trying to keep up with inflation, in the long run, you will be losing money. And so this is where the concept of investing and compounding comes in. Now, what is compounding? Compounding is when your money is making more money. It's growth on growth. So if you have $1,000 invested at 5%, in the first year, you'll make $1,050, but in the year after, you're not just making money on the $1,000 that you initially invested, you're also making money on that $50 that you earned last year. So now you're making 5% on the $1,050 that you have invested, and next year you'll have 1,102 point something dollars. So your money is now making money. So even if you did not invest a single extra dollar, your money will still be growing, and that is compounding. And then the more consistently that you invest, that snowball keeps increasing, and the difference is massive in decades. But why is that the case? Why is investing giving you higher returns than simply putting your money in a high interest savings account? This is because of the concept of risk and return. Of course, nothing in life is free, especially when it comes to money. And so when you are taking the risk of stepping into the stock market, you are rewarded with a higher return. When you put that money in a savings account, your money is always going to be there. There is no risk in putting your money in a savings account. And so that's why the return that you get is much lower than when you are invested in the stock market. Now, as you must have guessed, the amount of risk that you take directly impacts the return that you will get. And the good thing is that you can figure out what your risk appetite is and invest your money accordingly, but that is for a different video. Risk overall is not a bad thing. It's just the price that you pay for a higher return. You are getting the opportunity to make more money, and in return, you are taking a little bit of risk. That is where the concept of opportunity cost comes in. Like I said before, there is an opportunity cost in everything in life, and the same is the case with money. Whatever you do in life, choosing one thing over another, you will have to face some kind of a trade-off. For example, I choose to live in downtown Toronto. As a result, I have the opportunity to walk to work. I save a lot of time. I am in the core of the city. I get to meet my friends almost every single day. I can make it to last minute plans. There are so many different things to do here. There are so many new places to eat. It's amazing. But the trade-off is that I pay more in rent. When I was living in Waterloo, however, my rent was significantly less, but I would have to wake up at 5:45 a.m. to catch the 6:15 train to make it to work at 8:30 or 9 o'clock. And the same was on the way back. It would take me about 2.5 to 3 hours just to get back home. I would be completely exhausted, and there was no way that I could make it to last minute plans, and I couldn't really see my friends the way I can see them right now. So there is always a trade-off with the choices that you make, and that is opportunity cost. The trade-off with money is the same. You can choose your risk profile, and you can choose to take a little bit more risk for a little bit more return, for a higher return, or you can choose to save your money and not get that much return, and in the future be losing your money technically. But the biggest mistake you will make is to not learn about money. And so it's extremely important that you put aside your fears or your avoidance or however you think about money, because at the end of the day, it is going to impact you. So it's better that you learn about it, and so that the opportunity cost, the trade-off that you are facing, is not to your detriment. And when you're learning about money, you're not just going to learn about how to make money, but you're also going to learn about how to spend money. And if you're curious on how I spend my money living in downtown Toronto and the opportunity cost that I face, you can check out my video right here. Thank you so much for spending your time with me, and I'll see you next time. Bye.